There was an election in Otter Creek last night, town hall, and LIEnette and Crook left behind a critical, crucial piece of evidence for the federal court case. Yesterday, LIEnette and Crook were just out over here in the way with a table, and interestingly enough, no child. Now, they've posted so many times before that the child couldn't be left with anybody because she has life-threatening conditions and illnesses, and yet there was no child in sight. As a matter of fact, Deuce has filed that they can't leave their child with anyone. I'm pretty sure that was in a filing. Or at a bare minimum, they would be burdened too much to go to Pensacola. So everything that's already in Gainesville had to be moved to Gainesville, even though it's already in Gainesville, and he filed that twice. Well, one of the things LIEnette and Crook did, which was a major, major mistake, is they left this sign behind when LIEnette only got 18 votes. Now, to put this in perspective, this is an individual that claims she's a public, private. Even with her legal lawyer, claims that she's a private individual who has now run for town council 2 times, who has a massive amount of GoFundMe's, fundraisers, 501c3, which actually isn't a 501c3, and many, many, many more grifts. And yet this individual who claims she's a public figure sets up a table and takes this sign. Look at this, George. Team Otter Creek, stop the chaos. You see that S? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's gonna be LIEnette. Oh wait, parentheses, my show. Press done. Russell Meeks, look at all these letters. Stewart. Uh-oh, we spelled Stewart wrong.
Why are these, what are the circles with the dots?
I don't know, but I know they spelled Stewart wrong the second time and they had to use that. Don Severino, Jeff Berry. Oh, we're gonna talk about Jeff. Jeff is the individual over here. That's new. Who isn't even a resident, a full-time resident. You have to live here for more than 6 months. He does not. And has anybody noticed this fencing?
Looks very familiar.
Oh, that looks like LIEnette and Crook's fencing. Isn't that interesting?
You think that's leftover?
The leftover potentially.
So the grift
right there.
made its way over here.
The grift is making it all the way over there to an individual who lives with no power, who doesn't even live here more than 6 months out of the year, who then tried to run for council. He got the least amount of votes, 17. LIEnette got the second least amount, 18. Now, that is a drastic decrease from what she got last year. George, you remember how many she got last year? 24?
Well, not last year, but wouldn't it have been 2 years ago?
2 years ago. Okay, so I think she got 24. So now she's dropped even lower. Mm-hmm. That's pretty significant. Mm-hmm. Now, look at all
what
this.
I find interesting is she's telling people to stop the chaos. Is she referring to the chaos on her property?
Well, I would assume so. Well, there would be rugs all over her property as well. Sunshine law, not their own. Otter Creek is a gem that needs to be polished. We can polish it so it shines like it used to in the past.
Really?
Wait, she's the one that's going to polish it?
But looking at her property with footage from law enforcement.
Fix the water. It's still brown. Stop the frivolous spending.
Kind of like the brown water that the tortoises swim in.
Bring down our taxes again. As if their taxes went up. These people don't pay any taxes. The people who pay taxes, us. They don't make enough money to pay taxes. They're excluded from it. We pay the taxes. So when the taxes go up, I pay. They're not paying. I pay. Vote for us who care for you.
She can't even care for her own property or animals.
Team Otter Creek, stop the chaos, no more lies, stop the frivolous spending, sunshine law, not their own, fix the brown water. Have you tried the bleach? Yeah, super brown. Huh.
Our water is not brown and we're hooked up to Otter Creek water.
I don't get that. Vote for us. We care about not what they need from the town. And it goes on and on. Now, here's something that's going to be extremely damaging for them in the federal lawsuit case. See this material? Guess what material that is?
The
exact same material that the other signs were written in. Oh, wait. We have another issue.
Where was this sign?
Oh, it was right here, and they left the evidence behind for us.
Why would they leave the sign?
The kind people in Otter Creek actually grabbed it for us for the federal case. Oh. And look at this. We have all the same marker colors on here as well.
Interesting.
And now another handwriting sample. This is LIEnette's handwriting. Same exact material, same exact marker colors, same exact handwriting. Now, isn't that interesting? Now, it's gonna get a little bit more interesting. After yet another miserable defeat, another failure in the LIEnette camp, she posted around midnight on her Otter Creek Standing in My Trash page, and she said, "As I figured, I did not win the election today." Well, hold a second.
So why did she show up?
She said everywhere that she was going to take the town back. She was going to clean up the town. She was going to
bring Jesus to
She's
town
bringing
hall.
Jesus into town hall.
And that
You would need
98% of the people love her.
Remember, 98% of the people love her and Crook.
And support
yet,
her.
out of the 63 voters that showed up, she got 18 votes. Well, from Don, Stewart, from
Herself.
Russell, from herself, from Crook. Definitely not from Belinda, who's peeking out the door right now. I'm sorry, Belinda. So she posted, hard at work as always. Can I have a? Oh, these are the best. Usually I'm all sweaty and nasty. She's like, "I'm giving you a hug anyway." So LIEnette posts, "As I figured, I did not win the election today. With all the lies, the negativity out there about me, I can absolutely understand why. I feel sad for Otter Creek today. As a matter of fact, I feel extremely proud of what Otter Creek did to keep that mess out." Could you imagine the legal liability if LIEnette was in this office? Could you imagine what would happen to this town? And I wouldn't allow it to happen. The mess that would happen. Okay, after Belinda worked so hard to clean the mess up with others, Madam Mayor Therese, Deanna, and others. So then she goes on to say, "There was so much spending that the people don't know. There's so much lies. There's so much corruption happening that the people don't get it because they're not seeing it."
Where's the proof then if she's seeing it?
Well, I've got evidence for federal court of her sign from yesterday now. And then it says, "The water is not fixed. It's worse than it's ever been. And trying to put bleach in it to wash your clothes and find out what happens to the water. It turns deep, dark brown and goopy on the edges of the machine." This sounds like
How
her
would she know
bucket.
that? She said she's not even hooked up to water. And
Well,
she
she's
uses
illegally dumping the water onto the ground. It's not hooked up to their septic. So that's illegal in Florida as well. Okay. "And it turns deep, dark brown and gooey on the edges of the machine. I had wonderful ideas and lots of things I hoped for the people of Otter Creek that didn't include HUD housing or Section 8 housing that is in a big city. I'm not against it, but in a tiny town, we don't need it. We've got enough going on in Otter Creek. We don't need more campgrounds." Does anybody recall us needing a turd purgatory? Does anybody recall us needing stalkers? Does anybody recall us needing tin on top of fences? What Otter Creek needs? It's a baseball team. That's what Otter Creek needs. Okay, and it goes on. You know my number, right, George?
Yep,
Right there.
777.
Okay. All right. So it goes on to say, "We have enough going on in Otter Creek and we don't need more campgrounds. We don't need people putting all the elderly out of their homes, which is all of their plans," which, by the way, none of this is spelled correctly, and nor is any of this true whatsoever.
It's all one run-on sentence.
"We don't need $1 million community center so they can unincorporate and sell off town hall and sell off brand new $1 million buildings to the same people that are sitting on the board today. How sad that these people are going to have to see for themselves the smoke screen, the mirrors that are put in front of them, smoked mirrors that are put in front of them. Just because you put lipstick on a pig doesn't change it from being a pig." And yet she's still with Crook.
She puts lipstick on. She puts
Crook
lipstick
is
on.
still with her. Just because you put lipstick on a turd doesn't make her any less of a turd. Okay, let's keep going on. "And just because they talk so good and so wonderful, who's paying for all of it? Please do a FOIA." And this is the funniest part. She can't even spell FOI. She literally puts in here FOYER, a FOIA. "So please do a FOIA request." Hey, Miss Belinda, can I get a FOIA from you, please, for my house? That was a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke. Okay. I just did a FOIA request at Town Hall. I didn't get a FOIA for my home. Okay. "Ask for the financials. Ask for what's being spent on, and you'll find out that every petty cash is in a negative." She can't even put a
What
complete
is she
sentence
talking
together.
about? The auditors come and share that
she
report
claims
with
she
everybody.
has the paperwork. She says, "I have the paperwork, and all I can say is, I hope I can continue to help the people of Otter Creek. I hope I can continue to share food and share my blessing box." You mean the empty box that she ran out and filled when Channel 20 was here because there was nothing in there? How insane.
And that the
Otter
child
Creek-
looked into and then Crook brandished his pew-pew.
Otter Creek doesn't need a nasty blessing box. That's for sure. I'm hoping to make it a bigger box with a refrigerator.
It's not even climate controlled.
She can't even pay her electric bills, and now she wants a refrigerator? Okay. Oh, wait, that's Lloyd's refrigerator.
DCF made her remove a refrigerator that was on her
And
property.
she's going to put egg sales and help people. Wait, now she's doing egg sales as well? Okay, so egg sales to help the people that need it. I'll continue to do all I can to help the people that need it in Otter Creek. There's always next year. So she's already proclaiming she's running again next year.
Next April.
But she's a private citizen?
That's running a
Something
tortoise
ain't
rescue.
mathing for me. Okay, there's always next year and it will work out. God bless, take care. Remember that God knew why. Maybe because she's a pathological liar, she would actually destroy this town and she would put this town in so much legal liability they would never recover from it. Yeah, God, I'm sure, absolutely knows why, without a doubt. I don't know why, and I'm not questioning him. That would be a capital H, not a lowercase h when you're talking about God. Which again, she's a minister. You would think she would know this, which she's not really a minister. I believe that I got a lot going on already, but I could have done it. I wanted to do it. I needed my mind taken away from other things, but it's okay. We're going to get through this. This too shall pass. This is the funniest part. Look at here. Sincerely, Michelle. Oh, wait, parentheses. LIEnette.
In all caps.
And let's not forget, God bless. Let's look at the unofficial tally of the votes here. You got Jeff Berry with 17. Now, these individuals actually ran for a 2-year seat. And that was Jeff, Russell, Zim, LIEnette, Don, and Rex. Jeff got 17 votes. Russell got back in with 36, but let's not forget, he has an ethics commission hearing on the 25th of April, and I will be there, and I'm given 10 minutes to actually address the ethics committee. Then you also have Zim, who's voted back in with 55. LIEnette, 18, just one over Jeff, who nobody knows except as another defamer in this town. You got Don with 30.
Oh, look, her legal first name is LIEnette.
Yes, it is.
ML. How many middle names does she need?
A lot, Ruby. All right, Rex is at 51, and you go total 207. You have to remember that every resident gets to 4 votes.
Because there were 4 open seats.
There were like 63 people who actually voted.
Registered.
They got to vote for 4 different individuals. That's how you get the numbers for those who can't do the mathing. Now, for the 1-year seat, you had Carl Hughes at 53, Stuart Stewart at 33, with a total of 84 votes. Carl gets the 1-year seat. Now, here's the most interesting thing. LIEnette again claims 98% of the people of Otter Creek love her and Crook because she's stating that George and I don't, out of a town of 100 people. Well, obviously, nobody likes her. So we can say debunked. Oh, you want to know what else is going on? And a huge plot twist. I had a meeting this morning with one of the residents of Otter Creek who is finally willing to come forward in federal court. They saw firsthand LIEnette and Crook putting up the defamatory signs around Otter Creek on State Route 24 underneath one of the street lights. You see up there, George? See that street light? Well, it was witnessed under the streetlight. Verbal communication. LIEnette and Crook yelling and fighting and yelling at the child. And they have come to me and they are willing to testify 100% to this in federal court. So when she says, I don't know anything about signs, yeah, debunked. That's not even LIEnette and Crook's biggest issue. Probably their biggest issue right now is this huge nose that stuck himself into something he should have never done. We're talking about Deuce, otherwise known as BBB. We're talking about the lawyer, who is anything but a lawyer. Now, this individual has been told by the federal judge not to file any more motions. And if he does, he's going to be sanctioned. He is going in front of a show cause hearing April 3rd. And yet, what does Deuce do on April 1st? You would think it was an April Fool's joke, but it is no joke at all. He files another motion. Now he's going to face sanctions for that. He's probably, I would say, absolutely going to lose his pro hoc vice status, which the judge in Florida gave him just to represent LIEnette and Crook in this case. Now keep in mind, the only reason why Deuce is even a part of this is because he learned about this through YouTube. He wanted the fame, he wanted money, and now he's crying that people are actually covering this on YouTube. Just so we're clear, this is my life. This is what the Hales. This is my story, and this is the news media outlet. And he wanted to jump on the train, except he wanted to get on the opposing side so he could get famous, so he could get money. And now he's absolutely infamous for his foolishness and the stupidity. And yet again this morning, as he's been court ordered by this judge to be in Pensacola on April 3rd, he files yet another motion. Right here, we can see he files a motion. Now, I'm just going to read it to you. It's so astounding, mind-blowing, foolishness. By the way, Deuce has had a record number of motions denied. If I could get Guinness World Book Records in on this, this would be amazing, because I think Deuce is going to be infamous for a record number of denials. He files this morning a notice of defendant's counsel's inability to appear on April and requests to decide motions number 96 and show cause based on number 115. Now, these are all numbered dockets in the federal case, and I'm not even going to go through those. I just want to show you the absolute insanity of this fool. Now, I have my own theory. I think there's mentally unbalanced things with him, and I think he shows all signs of drug abuse as well. I can't prove it, but that is my theory. That is what I think. And he obviously aligns himself with people such as that as well. So that just kind of adds on more to that theory. Now, what's he going to do? Going to try and sue me for defamation and say he's a private citizen as he stuck his huge nose into my life story with guilty, absolutely 100% guilty clients? Okay, so he says this: the defendants give notice. Now, understand that when it says that the defendants give notice, that is not LIEnette CROOK. It is Deuce. But he's working, if you can call it that, for the defendants, which the reality is he's working for me. He's the best lawyer I've never had to pay in my life. He's done more for me than he would ever have done for LIEnette CROOK. The insanity of these people. The defendants give notice that their undersigned counsel is unable to appear April 3rd, pursuant to order number 98, where the magistrate, the judge, said you are going to appear, because it's impossible to make the trip, and also because he fears for his safety and his freedom if he attended. Now, isn't it interesting that all of a sudden Deuce fears for his freedom, Deuce fears for his safety, yet he had no fear for my freedom, no fear for my safety from his clients who are literally brandishing and pointing firearms at me and other people? Wow. Can we say selfish, obnoxious narcissist? By the way, I think it's important that we actually highlight this isn't a real defense for him not showing up. He did this in Connecticut as he's looking at disbarment as well, claiming that he feared for his life to travel from one point to the other point in Connecticut. So this is his excuse, which he's used before, did not work then, and it isn't going to work now. If proceedings, and you're going, wait, he's using the same one over and over again. Are you guys going to cover this April 3rd with the magistrate? Yes, of course we are. If proceedings are not stayed or paused, sua sponte, in response to the notice and or pending in the district judge's ruling on the defendant's motion number 123, the defendants respectfully ask that the response in docket 115 be taken under advisement in ruling on the plaintiff's motion number 96 and on the court show cause on 98. In other words, he knows the ship is sunk and he's begging for any type of money whatsoever that he can get out of this. Is he going to get it? No, absolutely not. He will never receive a penny from me. As a matter of fact, he's in a legal lawsuit. If he doesn't show up on April 3rd, which he's already telling the judge he's not going to be there, there will be a bench warrant for his arrest. And then he has to come back to Florida for another federal case that he's a defendant in with 9 others. And why is he doing this? I shared recently that one of the 10 have come forward with extremely incriminating information. Deuce knows who did it, and Deuce knows what this individual has. And Deuce is beyond scared, and rightfully so. He is so guilty, rightfully so. All right, and it says it was impossible for the undersigned to resolve calendar conflicts, including client hearings in which they'd be left unrepresented. Let's be very clear. We all know Deuce doesn't have any other clients. No one. This is a bold-faced lie. Bold-faced lie. for which they'd be left unrepresented, which could lead to disproportionate negative consequences for both the abandoned client and the undersigned. Oh, really? So you could just file for continuance in their case. That's what you do. If you can't be there, you are court ordered to be in Pensacola. You put a continuance motion in their case. Pretty simple. You think the magistrate isn't going to know this? The judge isn't going to know this? By the way, there's a footnote, which is ridiculous. This notice is filed at risk for sanctions for not being deemed an emergency. The magistrate, the judge, already said do not file anything until after the April 3rd hearing. And here he goes and does it again. He does it on April 1st. He does it on April 2nd. Tomorrow's April 3rd. And I guarantee you, George and I already have a bet on this. He's going to do it again. He's going to do it again. The undersigned also has family obligations that he could not possibly leave behind for up to 3 days. I'm curious, why in the world would anybody go into this case from another state across the country if you know you have family obligations and you can't be a part of the case? Again, a pathetic lie. And it gets even worse. He's going to start using kids. The same way LIEnette and CROOK used the child to grift and get money, he's going to use the kids. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's gross is what it is. It's beyond disrespectful. The undersigned also has family obligations. He couldn't be gone for 3 days. There was no possible way to make all necessary arrangements for his family members' needs to be covered in his extended absence. The undersigned's wife, let's just be very clear. Somebody married him. Okay, maybe, but probably not for very long. After he's gotten himself in this situation, I mean, this is just mind-blowing. The undersigned's wife has a rotor cuff tear in which she requires the undersigned's assistance with many daily activities. That's interesting since she's a yoga instructor and we actually have her schedule. Huh. Whoa. You mean she's teaching yoga with a torn rotator cuff, but is Deuce there teaching yoga for her? Huh. Interesting. As a matter of fact, we know her employer. There's communications with her teaching employer as well. Digging a hole with more lie after more lie after more lie after more lie. The undersigned's daughter would miss an important band rehearsal and would also be significantly affected by her father's unavailability to bring her to school and pick her up. For reasons the undersigned is not going to discuss here, other than to say it prevents him from traveling to Pensacola. Oh, so all of a sudden we're using the same victim mentality and excuse that LIEnette and CROOK use. We can't go anywhere. Our child, it's life-threatening. Can't do it without us. There's nobody. And yet, there was LIEnette and CROOK outside of town hall with the incriminating sign, and the child's nowhere near. Interesting, isn't it? Isn't it? Birds of a feather continue to flock together, don't they? Oh boy, this is crumbling for all of them. All of them. They're all throwing each other under the bus. The cost of travel is also extremely burdensome. Oh, if the cost of travel is so burdensome, why would a fool jump in on this? Why would a fool file 2 frivolous civil lawsuits, thumbnail and trespass 5? Now LIEnette is being sued for $55,000 in the trespass 5. She's going to court for sanctions in the thumbnail lawsuit. Does he not understand because of what he's doing here? LIEnette and CROOK now have a case against him. The first thing LIEnette and CROOK should do is sue Deuce. Absolutely sue Deuce. Malpractice. They have the strongest case in the world against Deuce right now. That's the first thing they should do. Now, you also understand that LIEnette and CROOK are going to lose in all these civil cases. They're going to lose in federal court as well. And they're going to lose everything they own, including the property. They're going to be liens on the property. As a matter of fact, we're prepping right now to put a lien on the property. They owe us legal fees from Ohio. We actually have another case that's coming down from Ohio for them as well for more breaking of the civil protection orders, third-party contact, and the list goes on and on. So there will be nothing for any of them. The cost of travel is also extremely burdensome and disproportionate for the defendant's pro bono. Now he's saying he's pro bono, but he's asking for attorney fees. So which is it? You have attorney fees or you're pro bono? I don't think the magistrate's going to like this very well, especially when combined with the financial impact on his law practice being away for several days. What law practice? He's literally online defaming, 25 hours, 8 days a week. Stalking everybody, stalking everything. This guy is unhinged. No wonder The Ohio lawyer says, I want nothing to do with this guy. No wonder somebody turned their back on him and said, this is the most unhinged individual. Here's all the information. You'll put him away forever. Ha, okay. The cost of travel is extremely burdensome. I'm pro-counsel. I can't be away from my practice. This is already adding to an already huge financial impact on this practice of litigating on behalf of the defendants who are indigent. Indigent, they just got $56,000, but I'm pretty sure Walrus hasn't given it to them yet. Oh, on top of all the other tens of thousands of dollars and tens of thousands of dollars. You think that ain't coming up in court? Oh, that's coming up in court. It's absolutely coming up in court. Who are indigent against an aggressive plaintiff and well-financed counsel. Aggressive plaintiff. Aggressive? Oh, I don't know. Stop for a year. Stop. Cease and desist. Stop. Doesn't. Now I got a civil protection order. Stop. Doesn't. To the point where we have to go to federal court. There's nothing aggressive about that. That was complete and total mercy and grace being displayed, and there is no more for anyone. Anyone. Mess with me, you're going to court. End of story. That's it. That's it. The undersigned apologizes for any filings or contents of filings that have offended the judge, she says magistrate, but the judge, or inclined his annoyance. Oh, look at this. Deuce is finally admitting that he's annoying to people. He finally had a self-reflection moment, and he got it right for once. There's a dinger right there. The undersigned has sought only to zealously advocate on behalf of his clients. That's odd, because we have all the communication that what he wanted was fame. What he wanted was a mac and cheese story out there that nobody cares about. What he is a pathetic loser. Okay, so let's keep going. Not believing to be transgressed any professional rules of conduct, warning, sanctions. Oh, you know that one where he says he wants to destroy me. Oh, you know where his clients literally say, you're going to shoot me in the face, going to feed me to the gators. Yeah, that stuff. Okay. Witness intimidation, witness tampering, defamation. Geez, I could go on and on and on. All right, and rules of conduct, warning, sanctions, or the revocation of his admission to pro hoc vice, which is, once he filed this, he sealed his deal. He's done. I guarantee you. Magistrate ain't going to deal with this anymore. He's done. And this is all then going to, this is all going to the bar in multiple states. He's done. He is completely and totally done. Justifies the necessity of the expenses and the hardship of multiple travel and justified the turmoil on his personal life and his practice since the filing of document 96 and the court's order that incited it. Now, this is what I want you to see. This insane bullet point down here. It's not even a bullet point, but it's a footnote. And this is where he gets so gross, using his own children for his own lives. This is the same as LIEnette CROOK putting fundraiser after fundraiser. Oh, she can't go anywhere. She's got a life-threatening disease. Yet she's at the flea market every weekend now. Oh, she can't be with anybody. And yet she wasn't at town hall. It's all lies. It's all lies for grifting. And now he thinks he's going to jail, which frankly he should. He's going to be held in contempt. He doesn't have the money for the sanctions. If he doesn't have the money, that's contempt. Then he goes to jail. I mean, that's what's going to happen. He's going to jail. And it then says... Again, that's what I think will happen. That doesn't mean it absolutely will. But this is the normal process of the judicial system, which he created himself. I had nothing to do with this. He then goes on to say, the undersigned's children, late biological father passed away while on a work trip in 2015 when they were 5 and 11 years old. Oh, let's start the sympathy. By the way, I want to be very clear. If this is true of these children, my sympathies to you. I am very sorry for your loss. And I'm very sorry for the lack of a man that is filled in for your actual father. And I'm sure you're sorry about it as well. The undersigned adopted them after marrying their mother, which I was just telling George, I was like, I knew no woman would ever have a child with him, not even his. Okay, any extended work trip taking their father away from home creates anxiety. That's odd. So he files... And now he's worried about anxiety, which, by the way, in 2015, they were 11 and 5. Okay, so we're in 2025. Now they are 21 and 15. I'm pretty sure the 21-year-old can figure this out. This is sick. This is a sick, horrific use and abuse of his own children in the court system on this footnote. It's insanity. Insanity. And I'm not even going to read the rest of it because it riles me up so bad that he's using these kids. He's using them to try and save his own backside. The defendants believe it's obvious that Motion 96 was intentionally contrived. I mean, this is just more garbage. So Motion 96 is the aspect of sanctions, everything that he's done wrong. And we didn't even share everything he's done wrong. It was just a sampling of everything that's going to be heard in court. And he goes on to say, I was a litigant and I'm a different case. He's still held to the same high standard of being an officer of the court. If he's a litigant as a lawyer, or whether he's a lawyer representing guilty clients, it doesn't matter. He has to be held to that same standard. And then he goes on and on. The plaintiff's surprise, uncertified motion, local rule 7.1 for sanctions, is the epitome of the acronym polyflop. Well, I think he's got some polyflops, although he calls it a polymop. Oh, he really thought he was going to make big money with this. Yeah, it didn't fly, did it? Oh, no, we think it's hilarious. There's no doubt we're going to sell t-shirts. He talked about it. Oh, yeah, that's right. They tried to trademark it, built a website, illegally used Randy's image. We have it all of it. Okay, including immediate multiple court orders, responses, adding, filing, it just goes on and on. He goes on to put links to my own videos. Now, let's be very clear. If somebody out there is watching my videos and goes, oh man, Jeremy, you need to be quiet. You don't know what you're saying. First of all, I run everything by my legal counsel. Okay. And so anything I do share, I've already filtered that through. Secondary, I know they're going to try and use it in court. So do you really think I would say something so foolish? Now, he's going to take things out of complete and total context. Like he keeps saying that I said on this date that my only goal in court is just to bankrupt you. Let's be very clear. I said that before there was ever a court case. And I'm talking in reference to court. There was no court case. So he's trying to infer to a magistrate and a judge that I said it about LIEnette CROOK. Well, that's untrue. And it frankly doesn't even matter. If I have a legal right to sue them for what they've done, my motive means nothing. They broke the law. Now, if they go bankrupt because of it, if Deuce goes bankrupt because of it, if Brian and Tina go bankrupt because of it, if Repulsi goes bankrupt because of it, if they all go bankrupt because one has turned on the other 9, that's what they did to themselves. And what do you keep seeing? Blame Jeremy, blame Jeremy. You see LIEnette, blame Jeremy. He lied. That's why I didn't get voted in. Blame Jeremy. I'm broke. I can't make it down to Pensacola. Blame Jeremy. I can't get a new car because now I have to pay a lawyer. Oh, wait. You could have not defamed me. You can't blame me for your life poor decisions. None of this multitude of proceedings has occurred without the calculated, non-certified, blah, 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 blah. It's just garbage. It's complete and total garbage. This court, magistrate, and district judge alike can take judicial notice of these events that are generated for YouTube content to financial profit on the plaintiff's channel, What the Hales, and other channels profiting off the content generated by this litigation. Now, here's the interesting part. He doesn't mention everybody that he's recruited in the anti-ecosystem, but I guarantee you I'll be mentioning it to the magistrate on April 3rd. He literally is funneling all of this. We have all the emails. We have it all. He's so stupid. He incriminates himself over and over again. These fools incriminate themselves over and over and over again. So he wants to talk about Megan and Tug and Larry but he doesn't want to talk about his own anti-ecosystem. He goes on to say, this is not an attack on their First Amendment rights, because the judge already said, stop with the whole YouTube thing. We're not going to infringe on their First Amendment rights like Judge Grudge did here in Levy County. This federal judge says, nah, that is never going to happen. So Deuce wants to say, this isn't an attack on their First Amendment rights, but to show the true motive and the purpose, the simple one plaintiff, 2 defendant deposition case. He is an idiot. He puts deposition instead of defamatory. It's not a deposition case. It's a defamation case. Can't even spell. Oh my goodness. Maybe LIEnette typed this up for him. Who knows? All right. And it's turned into a spectacle. It has been the plaintiff and his counsel. It should be a relevant consideration of the court to carefully examine the issues of the plaintiff's mislabeling of non-actionable statements as extortion and and fraudulent. He's just going on and on and on and whining and crying, and just is going to make the judge even more upset and more thousands of dollars in sanctions. The undersigned is unavailable to attend April 3rd, also for reasons detailed in Motion 123, which he filed yesterday. I believe that was 123 yesterday. This is 124. From the court's orders, And it goes on and on. He's unwilling to alter the orders. And, oh my goodness. Now he's talking about me appearing in live streams. This is a guy that has sat on hours upon hours upon hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of hate live streams. And he puts in a footnote here. Some are directly associated with the plaintiff and him personally appearing on their live streams to discuss the case, which boosts their view counts. Oh, you mean the view counts that he was promising all the anti-ecosystem, but they still can't seem to get anybody to like them or watch them except for mentally unhinged freaks who then make threats against us, like jabbing things in my eyes here in Otter Creek. Yeah, this ain't going to go well for him. I mean, I could read all of this, but it's just mumbo jumbo garbage. And it goes on to say, as explained in document 123, the undersigned legitimately fears for his freedom. He's saying he legitimately fears for his freedom right there. And yet, if he's an officer of the court, why wasn't he fearing for my freedom? When his client are doing what they're doing. His clients are guilty. He knows his clients are guilty. He actually admitted that his clients were guilty in my deposition. I legitimately fear for his freedom and safety, so I cannot attend and place himself at those risks in good conscience with his family and his clients depending on him. If he'd done anything remotely justifying such draconian consequences just to be able to defend himself. In other words, he says at the bottom line here, the consequences, he is not willing to travel from Boston. Come on. You read right there. He's not willing to travel from Boston to Pensacola. Huh. So anybody who put money that Deuce wasn't going to show up in Pensacola, guess what? You won! But George and I, we will absolutely be there. And we believe the magistrate's going to say, holy cow, what in the world is going on? And we'll be able to go, this is everything he's done to us.